Hello, world. Well, I'm tired. I'm tired, but then I get these bursts of energy. I was just rolling around on the floor, getting weird, doing my stretches, doing some breathing, talking to my spirit team, doing some Tai Chi. I don't know, I get weird. I like to roll around. Let's just see where things go. And in my state, let's have a evening cup of tea before bed. What came first? Well, what came first has been kind of building for a couple days. I kept hearing Ananda. Now, I know Ananda of something. Sometimes I forget again. Sometimes my little peanut brain, it just gets lost. But I kept hearing Ananda. And so I Googled it. I like to Google names when I'm hearing names. And I was trying to get a reference again. I'm like, okay, Ananda. I knew it had something to do with Sanskrit. I know of it, but I was just like, I didn't know what the focus of Ananda was. And when I heard Ananda, so it was kind of rolling around for a couple days, and I looked up the meaning, and we'll come back, I wrote it down so I can read it to you. But then, like a total dum-dum, this is a book I've reread a few times, the autobiography of Yogananda, and then I was literally looking at, and I was like, Yogananda, and then I was like, oh, of course, ding, 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 dum-dum. I'm not a dum-dum. I like to sometimes use that term, but trust me, I have a lot of self-love. I just like sometimes saying dum-dum. Let's light a candle here. Let's light two. I follow the Yogananda tradition. I follow a lot of traditions, and I listen to Asha, one of the women who has studied under the lineage. She's lovely. She reminds me of my grandmother. Anyway, so I was listening to her last night, and then I kept coming back to Ananda. So then I was meditating on it, and then I kept being shown the letter of my name, M. So they kept showing me M. And then again, sometimes I'm daft. And then I was like, Miranda? My spirit team was like, no. And then they kept slowly showing me write out M. And then they were like, take out the N in Ananda, which then makes Amanda. And then I was like, okay. And I'm like, what would you like me to do next? And so then I Googled the meanings, because I was like, whenever I'm in doubt, I just Google the meaning of the name. Okay, so Ananda is Sanskrit for eternal bliss or joy, ultimate happiness and fulfillment, often associated with the ending of the cycle of rebirth. I was like, okay, cool, that's beautiful. And then I looked up Amanda's meaning. It's not a Hebrew name. Everyone gets confused. So the internet was very clear to be like, it's Latin. And it means lovable or worthy of love. And I was like, okay. And then when they kept showing me, it's like there's something about the M and the N being like they mirror. So when you go to write the M, like the first part of it, it's kind of like the inverted N. Like they're showing me, like, again, the two halves. And sometimes I have to sit on these things for like several days, sometimes months. Like sometimes I don't know. Like I'm like, okay. Like I kind of just wait, where I'm not really, again, I kind of follow the thread. Sometimes I have to wait. I just have to be patient. So as I was rolling around, oh God, I'm getting hot again. Here we go. As I was rolling around, I heard vision board. And I was like, yeah. Okay, sometimes I'm just like, where are we going with this, spirit? Like, I'm trying to have a nice time. I'm rolling around on my baseball, doing pressure points, doing some breathing. And so then it was like, I heard the machine is trying to kill the dreams. And then they brought me back to vision board. And I love a good vision board. I'm always manifesting. I know exactly. Oh, and this is what they showed me just now. So with the machine trying to kill the dreams, it's like this time period of darkness, these powers that are about to collapse. it's really easy to dysregulate and enslave people when you take away hope and the ability to dream. Because dreaming is creating. You can't create something unless you have the thought first. It's very creative. And then what they showed me is that, again, because hope is an anchor, so dreaming is a way to anchor. So you have the dream, the vision, whatever that looks like, and then it's like casting a fishing line. So you put that out there, it becomes like this cloud in the distance, and then you take your line and you chuck it into it and it anchors in, and then it's this process of pulling. Both of you are converging, going back to another thing, converging, pulling it towards you. Oops, oh jeez. Jesus, take the wheel here. Oh, my Lanta. Bear with me. Okay. We don't need this. We're done with this. So, I was really sensing that, because lately, all across the world, it seems like everyone's tuning into these, like, epic love readings, and, like, that is great, but there's also a lot of people, like, I personally, full disclosure, I've been single as a Pringle on purpose, like, and I'm not talking, like, single with, like, sexy times and kissing. I'm talking, like, I have not touched a set of lips in, like, 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. And so there's people that, like, there's, like, groups of people that either don't want to be in a relationship, or it's just whatever. There's all different types of flavors. So there's, like, a lot of people that are calling in their soulmate. But again, like, in terms of, like, a vision board of, like, what is in your heart's desires for your life and for yourself outside of, like, a romantic relationship, and getting inspired, like, planting these seeds. They're really showing, like, with the machine trying to kill the dreams, it's like we really need, well, there's a lot of things that we need, but part of envisioning a new world, yeah, we need to be able to dream. We need our dreams. And also because this life, again, it's our God-given right to be able to kind of experience heaven on earth. And we can only really do that. Like, you got to know what's in your heart's desire. Like, what is it? What do you want? Like, for instance, I'll share this. Like, and we're going into years now, but, like, I have such a crystal clear vision of what I call my good medicine home on my good medicine land. I have it down to a T. I know the acres. I don't know where it is, but, like, I can see it to a T. I have every detail, and it's like, going back to the vision board, like, I just, every single day, I have it locked in, and I claim it. I already know it exists. I know it, like, I know it as sure as I'm sitting here, that this already exists in a timeline that I'm either perfectly and properly aligned to, or I'm, like, just about to be there. Like, there's things that I dream for myself that I just know, like, you'll have to rip it out of my cold dead hands. Like, I'm not leaving this earth until I reach certain things. That is a fact. That is me knowing. So, I've done this my whole life. There's lots of things, and, like, for instance, I can remember the day I casually said out loud, oh yeah, I'm gonna move to New York. Now, it took me, I think, from that particular day in Toronto, maybe another 8 to 10 years before I actually moved to New York. And then when it came to me that I was gonna move to New York, I was actually on my way to New Zealand. I had a plane ticket. I had a work visa. I had a work visa for a year. I had a bank account number. I was literally killing time in Toronto. I was back in Toronto, full circle. And I was in my in-between space. I remember I was sitting in my living room, staring at a wall, just kind of, and then I heard, you're moving to New York. And I didn't even want to. That was the thing. This is what was so funny. I didn't want to. I was like, Spirit, you're crazy. My point being is that, like, some seeds will come to fruition quickly. Some seeds take a little bit longer, but, like, I am always watering my seeds. Like, my vision board, if we want to call it that, I don't call it a vision board, but I think it's a great example because a lot of people use vision boards, and I'm a very visual person, so I think it's really handy. But again, I'm here to try to elicit some excitement of like, what does that look like for you? Do you want to go? Is there a certain place of the world you want to travel to? Is there, even when I was living in New York, I pictured right before I was about to turn 30, I was living in this punk loft in Brooklyn, and oh god, I just was like, we didn't have a bathtub. There was like a lot of issues, but I was like, I am not turning 30 living in this place. I was like, I'm turning 30 living in a place, and I just had this list. I made a list, and I was like, I was not gonna, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna co-create this. Okay, kid you not, I did get the place. It was incredible. Whatever. But I'm trying to get your fires going here. What's in your heart's desire? Again, yes, put a soulmate on there for sure. Dream relationship. But as I kind of mentioned in another, like, love sometimes isn't guaranteed. So like if you're only just waiting on a relationship, and like I hate to also break it to you, but like relationships are great, love is great, but there's so much more to life outside of a romantic relationship. Like everything that I have done, like when I moved to New York, I didn't know anyone in New York. I'd never even been to New York. Didn't even want to move there. And I just followed the dream and I showed up and I did it. And that to this day was the best year and a half of my whole life. Like I've had, in terms of chunks of time, like just consistent magic, like that first year and a half. And also at that time too, people were like, you're crazy. They're like, what are you doing? You just spent like close to 2 grand on this ticket to New Zealand. You're moving there. Like, you're like, what? Now you're moving to New York. You've never been there. You don't know anyone there. Like, what are you going to do for work? You're not American. Like, there was all of these things. And I was just like, well, Spirit has literally opened up every single door. I gave it some conditions too. I was like, if you want me to move to New York, it needs to look like this. Guess who met every condition? To be like, girl, you want to be sassy? Fine, we'll play that game. And so my point is, when you picture your wildest dreams coming true, what is on that vision board? This is the flavor that we're going into tonight as a topic. So, and then okay, so tying back to Ananda, again, like, what would bring you ultimate bliss? Again, really, I'm just hearing outside of a romantic relationship. There's more to life than just, because also I think there's a time and place, and I plead the ninth. In my teens, 20s, early 30s, I really thought if I can just get the perfect relationship, like everything will come together. Like all of these other experiences, all of these other wild dreams. And like, I'm really grateful that I'm of the personality type, like I don't wait for anyone. Even though I'm a diehard romantic, very codependent in my teens, 20s, and 30s. Late 30s, to be honest. And dream big. Like, in your wildest dreams, like, what would you want to experience? What would you want to do? Where would you want to go? Who would you want to be? You know? Yeah. I don't know. It's something to think about. Ooh. I feel like this tea got old in the packet. I love a licorice tea, and this is not. That's not what I could tell by the smell too. I didn't know that tea could not be as exciting. Okay, well, it's a bit of a, we'll just go back to good old water. No problem. No problem, spirits. Let's keep it to water. Okay. All right, spirits, where are we going with this? Because I was really ready to just tuck into bed, but we seem to be, okay, so we have that. Yeah, Spirit, what else do you want me to say about this? Is there anything else? Yeah, I'm real tired. I want to tuck myself. This little bear wants to get tucked. All right. Okay. So they're showing me, I have a friend. Nadia. Maybe some of you are named Nadia. Okay, so maybe this has to do, okay, this is good, because actually not everyone literally thinks the same. So for instance, like I've had a few friends randomly ask me, they're like, when I say the word apple, can you just picture an apple in your head? And I was like, yeah, why? They're like, I can't. Okay, so maybe this is part of, okay, we have a group of people, the vision board. We got to find a way for you to have a vision board. Okay, because going back to my other friend Nadia, very incredible artist, like just top notch, excuse me, highly creative. You would think a person like this is always able to see in their mind's eye and dream, picture things. She can't. We just had a conversation about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Because again, I'm trying to help her to, she's got some stuff going on and she's finding it hard to anchor in. But I was like, girl, like you're just living in this like really second to second moment, but like you don't have a vision for the future. You're not anchoring into something to get excited about. We gotta, and she's like, well, for one, I can't even actually literally picture things in my head. So we've been working with that. Okay. Also, sorry, I have these pressure points, and then I was working with, where is it? Maybe for some of you, the lymphatics. Pressure points, lymphatics. Get out a good guasha stone. Yeah, you can do your face, but like, oh man. You got some lymphs in here too. Oh man, digging in there. Sorry guys, it feels really good. Oh yeah, dig it out. Dig out this tension. Okay, so Spirit, what do you want me to say then about how do we dream when we actually physiologically can't picture things? That's a great question. Glad we're talking about this. I might even have to sleep on this and come back in the morning. Okay, so Spirit's showing me that if you are of the type that literally you just can't picture it, they're saying that when you catch yourself in a moment, maybe it's in a discussion, like you're talking with someone and you're getting really inspired, or you're actually looking at something so you can picture it in the moment. So like, you know, for me, like when I picture my dream home, and I have it down to the detail, but if you couldn't picture it, you could go look at magazines and just cut out, going back again to maybe you actually, yeah, a real vision board. Maybe that's why they're showing me a vision board and why I don't use a vision board, because my vision board's right here. I'm very, very visually active. Okay, but it can be conversations. Maybe you're listening to a podcast. Maybe there's a newspaper article or particular words. Taking it and placing it so that you can focus on it. Oh yeah, they're showing me the cone of power. Again, where it's like picturing a vortex coming from you that is drawing to you. You're the cone of power vortex. So yeah, okay, so for some of you, this is going to be your assignment. Really thinking. It might take you a bit of time. Maybe you need to sit in meditation and just really think about it. Like, what's in your heart's desire? Is there a school program that you really want to get into? Maybe you're in a school program that actually is not in your heart's desires. You're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And you're like, actually, maybe you want to be a ballerina. I don't know. Tap dancer. Oh, yeah. I have classes I want to, oh man, like I always have an active list going of all the things that I want to be learning and doing. Like, currently what's on the list? Yeah. Jazz drum lessons. My drumming's fairly proficient, but I really want to get nuanced into like jazz drumming, Indian classical singing. Oh my god, I got really into Korean drumming, the sumo nori. Okay, like this is what I mean. I have a million things. I have a million things at all times that I want to be learning, doing, trying. Yeah. So yeah, spirits really encourage you. Like, sit down, start thinking about it. Life is meant to be enriching, exciting, again, dynamic. adventurous, playful, fun. And if there's things that you're afraid of, sit with that too. Like, oh my God, I can tell you right now, after watching like 40 years of Law and Order, every Law and Order season, moving to New York, I was a little bit nervous, where I was like, am I going to be dead within 5 minutes? Like, what's going on in New York? And I've traveled a lot, but for some reason, like, that was a really big one for me, to be honest. That one was, I was like, ooh, I'm going out on a limb here. And it was the best year and a half of my life. Right before the 16-year cycle that has seen me to where I'm at now. Some pretty harsh lessons, but Spirit did bless me with a good year and a half of like insane magic, okay? Insano magic. Yeah, we got to start laying these seeds in your heart's desires. Because as the saying goes, like, Spirit wants to fulfill your heart's desires and then some. But you got to get clear on the list too, and really down to the detail. Oh man, I can see my house, but not only that, I can see the land, but then I have my workshop / studio, multidisciplinary artist. I got everything. I can see it to the T. I can see my kitchen. I can see where my son and I are going to be hanging out. I can see where the animals are. I can see my bedroom. I see it all. I see it all. Everything. There's like, and this is just one example, because like, I'm really, right now, I'm like, my good medicine home, my family home. This is the home that I will have until the day that I die. It's going to be in the family. And again, everything looks different for people at different times, but it's really more about like, we got to fan the fires, not just romantic love. This time, it's a dark time. Again, going back to the machine wants to kill the dreams. The biggest act of resistance is, again, choosing to fall in love, be joy, be excited, be passionate, We're all suffering right now. It's really, I'm sure there's still a lot of people, it's not a hard time, like the billionaires seem to be enjoying themselves. I can tell you right now, it's going to be very short-lived. But, when I was hanging out with my friend last night, we were talking about, there's an example of, even in Auschwitz, terrible time, people fell in love. Soulmates found each other there. Love is like the little plant in the cement crack, the sidewalk crack. Love can get anywhere. Passion, dreams, like, you know what I mean? It's the total act of resistance to keep choosing to be in love, to fall in love, to be love, to believe in love, to be curious, to be open instead of detracted, Even when it seems hopeless, to still dream, to think of there's possibilities, That's how we're going to get out of this. Okay. I'm going to perk it up a little bit here. Okay, well, Spirit. What else? Bliss and joy, eternal bliss and joy. Lovable. Yeah, like really. And again, if you're not sure how, so if you're like, well, I don't know what that would look like. Well then, if you don't know what you want, let's start with what you don't want. That's even a better place to start. If you can't really picture yet, start writing a list of like, okay, well, I know I don't want this, especially with stinky jobs. That's a great place to start. In any, like, you just start somewhere and just be like, well, I know I don't want this. This is something that I could have less of, And so then it will tell you, so if you don't want this, then what would be the opposite of that? Do you know what I mean? So for those struggling, I feel like this is a real about like people who are struggling who don't know. And maybe part of that too is like, you don't know parts of yourself yet enough to know what that could look like. But then just start with what you don't want, or what has been unpleasant so far that you could say like, you know what, we could turn that down a little bit and we can have less of that. Um, you know, even from things to your health. It can be anything to a pet. Like when I picture this new house, I see it clear as day. I see this dog that I have. I see all the animals. I see my biodomes, everything. I just see it and get detailed. Get so detailed. Always leave room though for creator, spirit to surprise you and to take it beyond. But like, yeah, get into the details. I can see my son's room. I can see him coming in from school, throwing down his book bag. I can see all the windows, the light. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have a big field of sunflowers. I'm gonna walk the property after supper with the family. I'm gonna have a pump track so me and the kids can ride. It's gonna be huge. Gonna have yeah. I see all the things. I want you to get into the space of like, yeah, and to know it's yours. Just keep throwing that line, anchor into it. Be that the cone of power. A vortex is just like humming, and it's like a black hole. It's dry. Again, be the empress. Be in the empress energy of like, dream it and sit back and allow it to come to you. And the thing about dreaming and attracting, it's a real dance of, you have to amplify the energy. So you dream it, you amplify it, and you just claim it. I know, I have, I am, I will. And you picture it in detail and you get really excited. You amplify for a really big second. And going back, water, I always pray and talk over my water. Water is an amplifier. This is some of the easiest, biggest, most potent. Water is so powerful. There's so much we don't even know about water. But if you, in terms of praying, doing anything, talk over your water. This is big medicine. Amplifies. So by going back to amplifying, so you get excited and then you let it go. And then let it go for a bit. It's kind of like the waves. It comes in and it goes out. You bring it in and then you put it back out. The masculine, the feminine. You receive, you go soft, and then you get a bit more directive. You get excited and you amplify and you put it back out to remind me, like, you know, to be like, I'm here and I'm claiming. I draw it to me. Is there anything else, universe, spirits, spirit team, for the collective you want me to say before I go to bed? Tiger's eye. So I'm looking at stuff in my altar. I feel like there's one last thing. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. What did you dream about as a kid? What did you want to be? Where'd you want to go? Yeah, they're showing me someone being a little kid in their bedroom. They're not asleep yet. They're supposed to be asleep, but they're not asleep yet. And the moon's, again, shining through the window. But there's like some kind of dream. That's the thing. When we're young, we do have a lot of dreams. And it gets quickly squashed out of us, doesn't it? When you're a kid, the sky is the limit. Like, there's nothing you can't, like, I still remember, oh my God. I'm also a person though, like, perfect memory. I can remember dreams that I had when I was three, like, almost 4. That's the earliest I can go back, but I can remember dreams that I had. For me, it's a nonstop, like, just memories. And I know some people don't have that. But if you can remember your childhood or certain ages of like dreams, even if it seems silly, just go for it. Go fulfill a childhood dream. Yeah, there's really this emphasis on removing, and it's not to say that the universe is going to give you true love, that you could still be part of this big collective that's about to receive, but they're really wanting you to focus your own heart's desires, not contingent on another person. Don't give that power away. Go back to fulfilling self. Like, if you just knew that you were never gonna have, like, let's just say that for some reason you just got a memo that was like, P.S. You're not gonna have a true love in this lifetime. So what do you want to do? I'm not saying that's what is gonna happen, but pretend. So if there was no soulmate coming in and it was just you, what would you want to do? Where would you want to go? Who would you want to be? And also, what types of relationships? What does your community look like? What kind of people do you want around you? What kind of best friends do you want? Okay. Anything else? Anything else there? Spirit team. Oh. Okay. Okay, hold on. Wait, I have to sit with it for 1 hot second. Childlike sense of joy and wonder. Yeah, they're going back to the childhood. Okay, and so when I was rolling around, I was listening to another reader, and she was referring the Never-Ending Story. I love that movie. There's, oh man, the 80s. Okay, even Goonies. There's like all of the 80s was just rife with like incredible magical movies for children. They're taking me, yes. Okay, thank you, Spirit. We need to get into childlike sense of joy, wonder, magic. Yes, okay. Okay, now they're showing me another time. Okay. Real talk with Mariko here. There was a time in my life where I was in a very dark place. Very dark. Didn't want to be on this earth. And I had just moved into this house with one of my coworkers. She was lovely. Her name was Jill. And so maybe some of you are named Jill. And our roommate, and I guess I'm always the last to join the scene, but Harry Potter had kind of, I guess, just come out or been around. And I love reading. I love books. And she gave me the first book of Harry Potter, and I was like, all right, I'll read it. And it was a big fatty, and I knew it was a kid's book, but I was like, whatever, I'll just read it. I have nothing else to do other than be in a dark place. That book it didn't save my life, but like, the magic. This is what I'm being shown. It's coming back to magic. Children have an innate sense and connection to magic, because magic is just endless possibility. It's a feeling. It's got a taste, a flavor. If you use your senses, you just know it. Oh yeah, that's what it is. We need our magic back. This childlike sense of joy and wonder, going back to Ananda. Yeah, joy, bliss, being lovable, loving the world, seeing it with fresh eyes. Never-ending story. Like, what were your childhood favorite movies? Maybe you need to go rewatch them. I can literally, Goonies. I literally remember the day that Goonies premiered on CBC. It was Sunday night. The Disney Channel always on Sunday had the movie of the week. I was 5. I can see my mom's rocking chair that I was clambering on and hanging off of. Oh yeah. This is what it is, guys. Garbage Pail Kids, Howard the Duck. Now that was, I don't know how that was ever a kid's movie. The opening scene is like this like duck lady with her naked body in a bathtub. The 80s was wild. Garbage Pail Kids. Oh, this was, okay. This is the assignment, people. This is what Spirit would like me to convey. You need to tap into your little you. What got you fired up as a kid? What kind of adventures? What made you excited? And it could be anything. Anything. Do you need to go buy a BMX that you didn't get as a kid and just go ride around? Like, yeah, maybe you need to take up skateboarding. One of my favorite women that passed away from cancer, her name was Elaine. If you find her on Instagram, she inspired all these people. It started with her, I think, trying to learn how to do an ollie or the kickflip. And she was like this old British woman. And then she got sick with cancer. Anyways, but my point is that it's never too late. You're never too old. Our dreams again, the machine kills the dreams. When we're kids, so many of our dreams get fucking killed, get squashed. Oh, beautiful Spirit. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't go to bed. Never-ending story. Oh, man. Anyway, get excited. Plant the seeds. Let magic. Again, invite it in. Call on. I've said it in another video. I literally call in, you can just literally say, I call in, I invite, I invoke the spirit and essence of magic. Please surround me, please imbue me, please join me, please remind me of how you know me to be, and please remind me of how I know you to be. Start with that. Let's get this magic going. Let's dream big dreams. Dream a little dream of you. Mama Cass. Say nighty night and kiss me. Oh yeah, it is nighty night. Dream of me. Perfect. That's the message. All right, well, speaking of nighty night, yeah, this daddy-o's gotta go to bed. All right, well, that was fun. I was really tired. I just had to listen. Didn't really know where this was gonna go. We didn't even pull cards. This is just the download, the message. Go dream. Go find your little person. Go find those old dreams. Dig them out. Dig them out of the tickle trunk. All right. Good night, collective. Take care out there.